Hello and welcome to the Afri Dominion Show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so very much for joining in our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from the social media in particular, either from Facebook, YouTube, or some other private platform that we broadcast our signal to and from. We are so thrilled that you can find some time out of your busy schedule to join our late program today. So we are super excited that you can still join us today. Those of you joining us live from the television and radio station, we also want to say welcome, and our apologies for really starting late. We have some difficulties, especially with some other sister channels that we collaborate with, especially when our time zone changes and everybody's doesn't change. So we sort of like have been struggling to change over as smooth as possible. However, we are guilty for being late, but for not showing up. We always going to show up no matter what. It is what we do. We have to do what we gotta do every single day. So we are super excited, guys, that you can find some busy schedule out of your time, so we can discuss and have some conversations on the issues that we really care very deeply about. And I'd like to go right ahead and give you guys a huge welcome and let you know that we are so humbled for the opportunity to share some of our thoughts with you today. And a huge thanks to HMG Network and affiliate for broadcasting our signal, especially today when we are behind the schedule because of changes with some other sister channels that we also work with in particular. But with that in mind, guys, the show must go on. The truth must be told anytime, anywhere, regardless of what's happening. And it is for those reasons that even here, our program is going to continue regardless. And I just want to let each and every one of you know that our conversation here, it's a frank conversation. It's a conversation that we get to have with you, bold. It's a bold conversation. And we also ask no apologies for nobody. Why? Because the issues that we discuss here, the topics that we reveal here, the discussions we get to have with each and every one of you, these are the discussions that are literally deeply saved within our hearts. We have them close to our hearts. So when we talk about these issues, we truly care. We are not just filling the airtime because it's been given to us. These are the issues that we have been so silent about for so many centuries, so many decades, that we've been just quiet about it. And thank God for the opportunity that we can have today to voice our opinion, especially opportunity to speak on the voiceless brothers and sisters all over the world, and those who cannot dare come in front of you. So it's really exciting, and I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity to come in front of you, and we get to discuss with each and every one of you. It is in that spirit that everything we get to discuss with you here at Afri Dominion, we discuss with you in the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks that we would love each and every one of you to use as measure. Use as measure of both the integrity and the validity of what we share with you here on the show, either live or off the air. Because we'd like to really walk in truth. We'd like to walk in love and in trust in everything we do. We like to be corrected where correction is needed. And we like to make sure that there is no need for you to suspect that everything we have, it's untrue. Even if you find something that is untrue or something that is an error, by all means, with love, that you actually take some time in real time, because we are alive, and correct it right then and there. So we do not terminate the signal, we did not terminate the show before that error has been rectified. That's the spirit that we love. That's the spirit that we embark everything we embark in. That's the spirit that we march everything that we do. And that's the spirit we would love that you actually hold us all accountable here at Afri Dominion, in AfriDominion.com. So all of us families here, we'd love to do everything we do from those lenses. Are we together? And it's for those reasons that I also welcome each and every one of you who would love to share with us, leave us some feedbacks, know how to get in touch with us, know where to drop those lines, where to drop those feedbacks, especially let us know what you have loved about the program, including what you did not like about the program. It is the only way we can know how we can improve the program. It is the only way we can know how to repolish the program so that it's not only beneficial to all of you, but even us as well. But it's also an opportunity for you to come and support us. This program it's fully funded by you viewers and the very few angel investors. So every single dollar matter. Every single resource that we have matter. You realize that we don't do commercials here, because the content that we have is bigger than the money that you can earn right then and there. And it is for this reason that we actually reach out to all of you to say, hey, come and give us a hand. This is a lifetime opportunity for each and every one of us to have a voice on the things that we care very deeply about. Are we together? And with that in mind, guys, you can reach us through our website first and foremost. And our website is www.afridominion.com. www.afridominion.com. The main email that we use is info@afridominion.com. info@afridominion.com. From the website, or when you arrive to the website, or when you reach the website, you can find our phone number, our social media handlers, and so many other ways that you can get in touch with us. But in particular, or specifically, I would love to invite each and every one of you who are watching us live right now, or who will have an opportunity to watch us on demand or on social media, regardless of which platform that you are using. Come and join our group. We have a Telegram group where now you get to see all of us behind the scene. You get to see opportunities of what we are working with or what we are working on, and also have an opportunity to be a part of that. We would love to have you. We would love for you to come and join us so we can actually forge, we can forge much stronger hands in everything that we are doing. And I'm super, super, super excited for this opportunity to extend that invitation to each and every one of you. And with that in mind, guys, the programs that we run here at Afri Dominion, like I say, are programs that we care very deeply about. Also, this is a brand new program, which is why we never start this program without actually taking a couple minutes to just let you know what this program is about. What is Afri Dominion and what is Afri Dominion Show? So Afri Dominion, it's a concept that inspires, advocate, encourages, and even help take a full dominion of Africa and African resources by African sons, daughters, kings and queens, and African descendants, all in the interest of Africa and African people first and foremost. And then the rest of the world can come afterwards. So the show, it's a mouthpiece of the idea. Here on the show, you can expect also that the programs that we broadcast, be it on a television, radio station, or even here on these social medias, these are the programs that are going to be inspiring. These are the programs that you can expect that they will advocate on your behalf. And these are the programs that you can expect that they will literally help each and every one of you take a full dominion of Africa and African resources, one nation at a time, by the sons, daughters, and African descendants, all in the interest of African people and for the African people, and then the rest of the world afterwards. We love stressing out this because we do not want to give any one of you an impression that we do not mean what we are saying. If my house is on fire, I am not going to come and help you take care of your own affairs in your own house when I know that I'm becoming rebels. My house is on fire. I will honestly take care of my house first and foremost, because my house also matters. We need to take care of us as well. So there's no shames in you Africans sons and daughters of Africa, kings and queens of Africa, saying that, hey, this is our time to get together and rebuild our own empires. This is our time to reclaim our own dominion, to take full control of our own dominion, to take full management of our own resources, to take full governorship of Africa and African affairs by us, sons and daughters of Africa, kings and queens of Africa, without any interferences from outsiders. This is the time. These are the times. These are our season. This is our season, and this is our time. We ask no apologies. We make no apologies about it because we truly believe that. Every other race on planet does that, except Africans. So why not us? What's wrong with us not having that opportunity to do it? Especially not choosing to do it on our own selves or by our own will. So this is what we're doing here, and these are our intentions. So each and every one of you who may actually come out to this signal, you're like, whoa, what are these people saying? How dare do they come up in front of us like that and actually speak so boldly, speak with no apologies, and make such bold statements? That's because we believe in these guys. And we would love for each and every one of you also to reclaim your true identities as sons and daughters, kings and queens of Africa. You cannot make any changes before you realize who you truly are. A slave would never sit on the king's seat and make some decisions. If you behave like a slave, you would never be in a position to take rulership of your own territory, to take full control of your own land, of the management of your resources. So there is a need for you to reclaim your true identity, for you to do what you must do with no apologies to nobody. And with that in mind, we have selected different themes each and every one of the days that we do broadcast. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and Friday. We have 5 different themes that we follow. Normally, our broadcast starts from 12 p.m. to 1:30, with the exception of today. We have time zone changes. So our brothers and sisters in Africa who don't have any time changes, we sort of like had a conflict today. Different channels, different studios that we work with. We had some trouble making some smooth transition. However, first time for everything, and we get to learn a whole lot of these things as it happens. And it is for this reason that I would love to extend one more time apologies for our late start. But normally you can expect this show to start from 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 1:30. And then we finish. And afterwards, other programs come on by. And also a huge thanks to the program that we are disrupting right now because they have yielded. They have allowed us to get to have our program today and make it happen. However, we're only going to have just 1 hour program instead of 90 minutes, just so we can even just be appreciative of the gesture that they have actually allowed us to still broadcast our signal, given that we have been already almost outside of our bracket. We would have been finished. We would have been done with our programming in only 9 minutes. So a huge thanks to HMG Network and the affiliates for having allowed us to broadcast today during a time slot that was actually allocated for another studio, for another program. So we are super grateful about that. Going back to those themes and what we do with those themes, with 5 themes, we also have various programs. Every single theme carry its own program. So with that in mind, on Mondays, we talk about eradication of refugees, African refugees and African stateless persons. This is the time where our program focuses on our brothers and sisters who are refugees and those who are stateless persons. There are plenty of them, millions, in fact, who are living in those conditions. We get to scrutinize, we get to examine why is it that these conditions remain. These conditions are almost there every single year, decades. What is it that we are not doing to actually permanently get rid of these conditions? These are conditions that actually hardens our lifestyle, our lives, and the lives of our brothers and sisters. So why is it that we cannot get rid of it? Is it a lack of will? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it ignorance? What is it that actually causes us from now wanting to live a life we so desire for so many centuries, for so many decades? Why can we not live that life? So we get an opportunity to scrutinize that, but also to make recommendations. And then we get to have an opportunity to inspire you, to advocate, to help, and to encourage each and every one of you to take action so we can change that. That's what we do here at Afri Dominion. So on Tuesdays, we get to talk about the Constitution, Law and Policy Review and Implementation. And these are African constitutions, laws, and policies. Again, African countries, they have some of the most beautiful constitutions that there's ever been written on planet Earth. However, there's one problem with that. As beautiful as they are, few of them are beneficial to our people. So how can you possibly get to have a program that does not benefit to your own people? It's sad to have a program that you can never have any benefit out of it. So we've decided that it's important that we scrutinize. We also get to examine this constitution. We get to see, hey, what's working and what's not working. Whatever that's working, we actually get to encourage that it continues. We make it a point to come towards you guys and say, hey, listen, this is what's happening here. Please get to know this information so you may be able to have a successful outcome out of it. Take some good actions behind it. That we continuously do each and every one of the days. On Wednesdays, it's one of my favorite days throughout the broadcast. It's our testimony times. On Wednesdays, we get to testify, guys. We get to speak. We get to narrate. We get to tell our story, always with no apologies from nobody. Africa and African countries, we have such we have a rich history. However, this history has been purposely buried for centuries, for decades. Today, most of us, we have no idea who we are, including our brothers and sisters outside of Africa, especially those who have been taken as slaves in Northern America, in South America, in China, in Australia, in South America, and so many other remote islands. For centuries, they've lost their true identities. They've lost their roots, or where they originally belonged. However, today we have technology where you can actually trace back your roots, where you can trace back where your ancestors are, which country they are, because you do have families. Though you may be disconnected, though you may not necessarily be able to trace it, today there is a technology that can help us to do that. Today there is a history that we can actually resurrect. And today we still have elders who can actually help us to retrace back where we came from. And it is for these reasons, guys, that we want to make sure that we resuscitate our true images, our true identities. That we get to rewrite anew our history, this time our ways. It is not a colonizer who gets to write our history. It is you and I, as truthful as it can be. The good, the bad, the ugly. It is all ours. There's no need to cherry pick. It is all our history. And it is our time in our season to be proud of who we are as a people. Be proud of your shortcomings as well as your successes. If you ignore your shortcomings and you only seek out your successes, you're not going to get far. Because none of us are perfect on this planet. None of us are perfect. So be proud of who you are regardless of what situation you find yourselves in. Be it the good, bad, or the ugly. It is yours. It is what makes you who you have become today. And we are no exception to the rule. On Thursdays, we get to talk about the spirit of dominion. That word again, dominion. What is dominion? Dominion is you taking back the full control of yourself. You governing, taking a full control of your resources, full control of your land, full control of the management of your land, management of the people, management of the things that you care so deeply about. protecting your land, protecting everything within your land, and make sure that you make them better than the way you have found them. That is dominion. We are dominators. We are kings and queens. Literally, we are kings and queens. You cannot dominate something you have no knowledge of. You cannot dominate something you have no comprehension, no understanding over. You cannot dominate something that is not naturally yours. So if you become who you are, then your surroundings, your environment is going to also naturally submit. It's going to submit to you. And so we are super excited that we have decided to take back that route, to take back that journey, to reclaim our journey, and to actually complete it all new, all over again. However it takes, however long it's going to take, we are going to complete this. This is our season and this is our time, like I said. And when we make no apologies to no one, we make no apologies whatsoever. And by the way, this is not racism. This is just claiming what is rightfully ours. If you can claim what is rightfully yours, why can we not claim what is rightfully ours? It's fair and square. Fair, clear, and square. On Fridays, we get to talk about the current events and its impact towards Africa and African people. Fridays is another one of those days that I love, where we get to set our own agenda. Not me, not you, everybody, each and every one of us. You can send us something that's happening in your village, in your local region, and we can talk about it. And you can actually help us how it helps us as a collective, so we can actually give it more life to it. We can share it with our brothers and sisters all over the world. We get to do that every single one of these days, including especially on Fridays. So a huge welcome to all of you. Come and join the conversation. We explicitly have our Zoom session going on. We have our platforms on social media where you can call in. Radio station, you can phone in. Those of you on television, join us via telephone. Join us via your mobile phone. Join us via internet. However, whichever means that you have, or however you are able to join us, a huge welcome. We are super happy and super excited to have this conversation with you today. So with that in mind, because we do not have a lot of times, I only have about 30 minutes. I got something to just talk to you about briefly, and then we get out of here afterwards. So the topic for today, as I have told you, today it's the theme is eradication of African refugees and stateless person. So today the topic is it a choice to become a refugee or a slave? A refugee and a slave. I know. I get to ask sometimes some very tough questions, but it is what it is. Can the two conditions teach us a lesson towards our lives? When do you decide that enough is enough with being a refugee or a slave? That's what I really want to talk to you guys about. Even though we may not have some time to interact on Zoom, if you have a question, if you have something to say, I would say join in the program right now. Join in right now. Because we only have about 30 minutes left. We're going to be cramming in as many things as we can during these 30 minutes. And then we can meet in our groups and then extrapolate or break it down even further so that we can be a good steward of the time we have been so graciously been given all of again. So what is this about exactly? Is it a choice to become a refugee or a slave? I thought about it because let me start by saying I believe with my whole heart that it's a choice to become either a slave or a refugee. You may be like, how can you say something like that? You may even say, I never chose to do that, or I never chose to become that. Especially that I myself have been a refugee before. Not only that, I've been also a slave mentally. It's the truth. I cannot lie about it. And so have you. Some of you may not necessarily have experienced being refugees. But I'm quite sure The most of you can testify truthfully that in one way or the other, you've been a slave to something. But also, let me also be clear and say that not all slavery is bad. And again and again and again, you may be like, why are you being so contradictory to yourself? And I can explain myself with that as well. And I mean it, guys. I seriously mean it. Not all slavery is bad. Or not all slavery is wrong. I know. Before you stone me, just give me a chance. I got about 30 minutes, 27 minutes to self-explain. All right. So let me actually start from there. Why can I openly say that not all slavery is bad or is wrong? I will explain myself. On Thursdays, when we talk about the spirit of dominion, we usually say that we are kings and queens in the area of giftings. I have a gift within me today, and so are you. Each and every one of us, sons and daughters of Africa, even the rest of the planet, exclusively every single human being comes with a gift inside of you. That gift, when you choose, when you decide to activate it, when you decide to submit to it, when you decide to work for it, when you decide to nurture it and grow it and serve it to the rest of your humanity, you become a slave to that gift. I hope you understand me very clear. It is the only time I will ever say that becoming a slave to your gift is one of the natural gifts that we have ever been given. I repeat, becoming a slave to your gift. It is one of your natural ways to live your life. That is the only time in my mouth I'm ever gonna say that slavery is great when you choose to submit to your gift, the one that you were originally created with. Because that very gift turns you into king and a queen. Hence you being kings and queens in the area of giftings. And I hope that I'm clear. And I hope that this is the only condition. This is the only time I can openly say that slavery, it's amazing. Slavery, it's great. Only in the area of giftings for each and every one of you. Everything else beyond that, hell no. It's terrible, it's bad, we do not want it. Because none of us is supposed to be a slave to another person. Never. We are too precious of higher human beings that someone is going to come in and enslave you. So it's a choice to become a slave, the same way it's a choice to become a refugee. That's where I stand. I have been given a brain with 500 million cells in it. I have been given a will to choose what type of life I want to live. I have been given the power, the thought to live this life as I so please and as I so chose. I have been given 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, to use all the faculties of this physical body to make better this world, better than we have found it. I have never been given authorization to enslave you, nor have you ever been given that authorization to enslave me. We choose to manipulate each other. We literally choose to manipulate each other. And that's not acceptable. If I come over and I manipulate you, and for whatever reason you accept it, And then you get to believe that it's normal. There's nothing normal about manipulation. Today we have professional manipulators all over the planet. Slavery and manipulation, they go hand to hand. Refugees people, slavery people, they all have been manipulated to sell their true selves, to give up their true identities, to give up their lifestyles. A slave can neither do nothing without the master saying so. A refugee person cannot live a life without the immigration, without the local people telling them what to do. In fact, they make sure that not only you behave like a slave, but you actually have even no rights, just like slaves didn't have any rights. We're talking about 2022. We're not talking about in 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900s. We're talking about 2022. So how is it that you, a very intelligent human being, choose to become a slave, choose to become a refugee? It's a choice, guys. It is a choice to become a slave. It is a choice to become a refugee. If you so deeply care about your life and the value that you as a human being have, you will not allow any single person to turn you into a refugee, to turn you into a slave. Like I say, I am a king in the area of my gifting. You are kings and queens in the real estate called Africa. You are kings and queens, and you subdue. You're supposed to subdue every natural resources within that real estate. You're supposed to subdue birds in the air, fish in the sea, cattle all over, including the natural resources within the land itself. You cannot subdue that if you do not have any knowledge of what they are. You may not be able to subdue them if you have no understanding, no comprehension of what that is. You may not be able to subdue it if you cannot actually walk the walk and talk the talk simultaneously, meaning put that in practice. Actually take action, measurable action steps towards any one of the things that you may so choose to do. So today, if someone comes in and they take you out of your land, they come in and they bomb your territory, they come in and they butcher your people, and you do not stand up for yourselves, you do not stand up for your families, you do not stand up for your communities, and you flee, eventually you give in. Your sons and daughters give in. Your grandsons, granddaughters give in. Your whole people, the entire collective, they give in. Because when they see grandpa giving in, they see your father giving in, they see yourself giving in, naturally they think that it's the right thing to do. So why is it that one person is allowed to come and dominate you, to come and take over all your natural resources, but the other person isn't allowed to do that? Why is it okay for one country to come and occupy you and everything about you, turn you into a slave, turn you into a refugee, but you have no saying in any of it? That is sick, guys. That is extremely sick. And so until we arrive to the point where we decide enough is enough, we cannot accept to be in this condition no longer. These conditions are no longer sustainable. These conditions are no longer acceptable. We will even shed our blood to fight against being put back in these conditions. If you do not want to be a refugee, especially if you're Northern America, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia, why do you want to make African refugees? Currently, you've heard of Ukraine, Russia fighting in Ukraine and the Ukrainian fighting with the Russians. You've seen how deplorable those conditions are. You've seen how people are dying every single day. That is a norm in Africa, and there's nothing normal about it. You see how much television, how much media is reporting of what's happening in Ukraine. How many times do you ever get to see on your own television, seeing the life that's happening, the deplorable condition in the Democratic Republic of the Congo? The mass atrocities, we're talking about millions. More than 12 millions today. How often do you get to see images in the Congo? How often do you get to see images in Burkina Faso, in all these African nations fighting? The Central African Republic, there are wars everywhere. Mozambique. Africa is plagued by warfares. There are so many wars going on, but you barely get to see them on television. You barely get to see nations coming together and say, enough is enough with these wars. Because we need wars in Africa so that we can plunder the resources of Africa. We need wars in Africa so we can have refugees, African refugees going outside of the Africa. We need to make sure that we drain the brain of Africans, sons and daughters, and we take it outside of Africa. Wars are one of the primary tools used to plunder Africa, to enslave Africans, to move human resources from Africa to all other nations. Because if your own people leave your land, somebody else is going to come and get in there. Especially if you so happen to have all natural resources. That is very rare today, that everybody wants to have a piece of, but they do not want to legally acquire their natural resources. They cause wars, you flee, they come in and they take as they please. Game's over. Now that's why we are saying that we have to put a stop to that. It is not okay that you go and become a refugee in a foreign land where you have zero rights. It is not okay that you leave your own homeland and you become a slave in a foreign land. Today in 2022, we're not talking about in 1600s, 1500s, 1400s. We're talking about in 2022. It is not okay. In any country that's actually taking, that is responsible for these changes, we have to be able to openly fight against these countries. If it's not happening in the United States of America, if it's not happening in Canada, if it's not happening in France, if it's not happening in Germany, if it's not happening in China, if it's not happening in Russia, Australia, so many more other countries, why is it okay that it has to happen in Africa? Why is it okay that it should happen in Africa and all of you are just fine with it? That's when we say we are sick and tired of seeing our people being killed every single day, of seeing our natural resources being plundered and stolen every single day, and stealing our brain, stealing our own people, turned into slaves and refugees. I mean, not only we get to be stolen as slaves, but we also get to lose our inheritance while we are it. What's wrong with that picture, guys? We allow that to happen because every single person on planet Earth, every single one of them, we have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 2 ears, 1 head, with plenty of brain cells. Some of us, we choose to maximize the potential that we have within ourselves. Others, we choose not to do anything about it. Others, we are encouraged to just be dumb. We are encouraged to just wait for someone to give us what to do, what to eat. We are encouraged to keep our hands up, asking for a pot of porridge instead of you going in and get whatever that you need from within your own real estate, from within your own land, a very fertile land. And that's why we keep on saying, until you reclaim your true identity as kings and queen of Africa and African resources, you are going to be forever slaves, forever refugees. And I kid you not, the stakeholders, those who would rather have you being slaves, those who would rather have you being refugees, they are absolutely okay with you staying in those conditions. The question becomes, can you be true to yourself today? Can you actually be honest with yourself and say, I'm also sick and tired of being sick and tired of this situation that I'm in, that my family is in. I have to do something about this. We have to do something about this. This is where we have arrived, especially here, kings and queens at African Dominion. We have arrived at a point where we say enough is enough with this. We can no longer live these deplorable conditions and be okay with it. This is not normal, guys. There's nothing normal of you being a refugee. There's nothing normal of you being a slave. There's nothing normal of you losing your life the same way you can squash a cockroach. There is nothing normal of you losing your own inheritance in the hands of someone else who claims that it's theirs, when you truly know, when you know very well that it's not theirs. There's nothing normal with you being silent when you are being killed, when you are being tortured, when you are being raped. There's nothing normal about that. Today, Africans are brutalized, are killed, are raped, are dehumanized all over the planet, To make matters worse, now we have technology where we can actually record it. We dehumanize our brothers and sisters on record. It's being done every single day, and none of you is sensitive over it. None of you does anything about it. The very few who can do something about it, if they're not killed, tortured, or disappeared, they are fought against by these various systems that want to keep the status quo, that want to maintain the slavery of Africa, that want to turn Africans into refugees forever. These conditions we must not allow, guys. This is not racism. This is being able to reclaim your Ubuntu. Reclaim your lives as another value, as another valued human being on planet Earth who has the same right as the right of any one of these people who wants to take over your own natural resources, your own homeland. Why is it okay that they get to do it but you cannot do it? It's not okay. So, brothers and sisters, think about these things. These are the issues that only us can resolve on our own terms, on our own will, or by our own will, I should say. If you do not will to resolve these issues by yourselves, foreigners are not going to do it for you. They are quite happy with you staying a refugee and with you being a slave, because that is a perfect opportunity for them to come and plunder your natural resources, for them and come and take over your land, and for them and come and make you a slave for life. And it's not okay. It is absolutely not okay. We are not okay with that, and we are going to openly fight over that with no apologies. The question is, can you join in the fight? Do you believe in that? Do you believe in living a free life where you can choose to do what you have been given. When you choose to become, you gift and you share it with the rest of the world. Can you actually be in that position where you say, hey, this is who I am becoming, I am choosing to become what I am, as opposed to I am choosing to become a refugee or a slave because someone else with a strong arm than me has pinned me down to the extent that they have forced me to become a refugee. We can no longer accept these conditions, guys. I don't know about you, but me, myself, and mine, we are saying no, a heck to the no. Can you see in the United States, picture President Biden turned into a slave. Can you just see that picture? It's impossible. It is impossible. Can you see in the United States? Can you see the 300 plus millions citizens in the United States turn into slaves? I mean, just look at that picture and see if it's something you can even conceive in your life. It does not register. Why? Because 246 years ago, few people stood up and they decided that enough was enough. They were now going to submit to another human being who were going to enslave them. They've decided that England was not going to enslave them anymore. They've decided that England was not going to run the lives of their own families forever. So they fought for their freedom. They fought knowingly that in case all of that should go wrong, all of them will be executed. All of them would be killed. Because it is treason. It was treason to fight against the kingdom that was enslaving them. So today I am saying to you, I will commit treason for my freedom, anytime, anywhere, with no apologies. Kill me, do me wrong, whatever it is, that's fine. Have your ways. But I will not be a slave. I will not be turned into a refugee, knowingly. And knowing that there are systems that are strengthening themselves by turning our families, by turning our communities, by turning our nations into slaves and slavery. So choose you wisely, young people. Choose you wisely, brothers and sisters, in and outside of Africa, when enough is enough. With you being a slave over there in the jungle for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. When do you see that enough is enough? That you do not have to bear children in the jungle when you have your own land? When enough is enough? When you must realize that your precious family, it's not a donkey, it's not a cow, it is not a robot. That they get to be turned into slaves. It is up to you to put an end to that. It is up to us collectively to say enough is enough with this. And clean the entire system for our own benefit as brothers and sisters, as Africans and African descendants. Turn around the image, turn around the page so we can reconstruct our own lives in the way that they benefit, that this life is maximize, it's benefiting us to the maximum. This is what we are seeking and this is what we want to go after. I know we're running out of time, so there's so much to say about this, guys, but I want to appeal to you that choose not to be neither a refugee nor a slave. Turn to embrace you being a king and a queen. That is who you truly are, guys. Take the responsibility over the management of your homeland, over the management of your resources, and make no apologies to nobody about it. Commit and dedicate to fighting over every single individual, every single organization, every single institution that's there to enslave you, that's there to turn you into a refugee. Do not give in to the sales, black market of draining our brain, of our human resources, taking us out of our own homeland to other lands so we can make them better and continue to impoverish the rest of our brothers and sisters. We are also doing that today. Enough is enough with that. We must be able to stop it. So, with that in mind, guys, let me shut up and let me say thank you so very much for those of you who have had the opportunities to follow this program live. We ran out of time because we've eaten our time today from another program, another sister channel that's taken our slot. But we are nevertheless thankful for the opportunity to say just a word or two to those of you. We welcome new feedbacks, guys. And I say to you, recognize that you are a king and a queen. Speak boldly, speak truthfully, and speak with no apologies to the things within your heart. You only have one life to live. Choose wisely how you want to live this life. You have one life to live with a gift inside of you. Choose to become what you are truly inside of you. Embrace your gift. Become what you are inside of you. That is the only way you can embrace your kingship and your queenship. Anything else besides that, it would forever enslave you. And with that in mind, guys, thank you so very, very, very much. A huge thanks again to our Free Dominion team for a fantastic presentation and fantastic program that they have prepared. And a huge thanks to HMG Network and the affiliates for actually broadcasting this signal at a wrong time, which is so right at the moment. And a huge thanks to all of you on television, on radio station, on social media who are following this program and who are going to decide to come in and join arms with us and come in and make changes accordingly. And with that in mind, guys, I am Freeman Singirankabo here at our Free Dominion. I'm wishing you all a huge, 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 super fantastic day anywhere that you are. May God be with you. May God protect you. May God protect your families, your communities, and your nation. Until we see you again, so long, and thank you so very much.